Hey guys, welcome back. As always, please like and subscribe before or after the video if you like any of my content. I've always got a video about me and why my opinion matters on a different video, so I don't bore you with that every single time. And today we're going to talk about short throw projection. So I really do like short throw projection. There's some things I don't like about it, and we'll kind of go through that too. But the first thing that I like about it, let's start with the positives, is that you can do 120 inch in your living room, right? I'm a big screen guy, so I love to do large screens. I mean, you have a corner fireplace and a big white wall. People just think that is a TV when they come in the house, so I think that's pretty badass, and I'm a big fan of it. So, you know, I think that things like that really do, you know, kind of stand out, and except for, you know, as opposed to buying an 85 inch TV or whatever on the wall, creates a lot of heat. Super bright, you know, and that's a good thing in a living room. But as you can see, this is fully ambient light rejecting, and I'll explain why that is in a second, because that's more screen than projector. But let's first dive into projectors. So really there are a couple big players out there, and there's a bunch of like internet companies, I call them, that I won't talk about because I don't like any of that stuff. This particular one is the Epson. The reason we sell it the most is it's not only one of the best projectors, you know, out there, or probably, you know, the best short throw projection system before you start getting into the $20,000 realm, is that it auto corrects itself. So the reason I bring that up is this is in this flush cabinet, which we're actually going to get to as well because it's super important. And you can already see on the top there, if you can pan up, it's already starting to kind of droop in a little bit. It's set on the left corner. It's fine, but somebody must have breathed on this projector, which is the first thing I don't like about it. If it's on a cabinet, because you don't want to spend money on this gorgeous cabinet that it sits flush in, and it gets moved in any way, the movement is exponential. So a 1/8 inch movement here is 2-3 inches on the wall, the light moving, and then you've got to adjust it back. Well, what Epson did was, Epson said, we know that happens sometimes, so get it straightened out again. And we have an app, so they have an app, and it like Bluetooths to the projector, and basically you take a picture of the wall and how the light is on the wall, and then it auto corrects itself within the app and fixes itself lens-wise back to the screen, which is a godsend, because every time we've ever sold short throw projections before, which I still like. I like the Samsung. I love the Sony, it's super expensive. We sold Sim 2, phenomenal projectors, of course. You know, you're getting into Italian-made lenses and things like that. And if you know anything about me, I like things that are Italian-made, especially with wheels, if you know what I mean. So, you know, I'm a big fan of other companies, but none of them do this auto correction here. It's a 4,000 lumen laser projector. So the 4,000 lumen laser projector is going to be super, super bright. I literally have windows to the left fully open in our showroom, and then I've got lights aiming literally on the screen, and you can see it's super vivid, super good black levels, stuff like that. The reason you get that is back in the day, those big screen TVs, the Mitsubishis and Pioneer Elites and stuff like that, they are a rear projection TV, which means it's a projector sitting inside the box, essentially bouncing off of a mirror and hitting a screen. If you ran your finger on that screen back in the day, which kids love to do, it would make like a zipper sound, like bzzz, and it'll do the same on this one, but I'm not going to touch that. That is microscopic bumps, and they're shaped like this, and they take the light here and they reflect it back to you, but because of the shape of that, it's rejecting light from anywhere else. The only reflective surface is this section right here on a lenticular screen. So that's why you see this bright, vivid image, and you get great black levels, because it is kind of a darker screen anyway. It's almost as dark, or as dark as a black diamond from Screen Innovations, but it's lenticular. The reason you can't just go, oh, because this screen's $3,000 and a black diamond is $6,000, you can't just go, oh, I just use this instead, because a regular projection system, because of the angles, would almost show you nothing, as opposed to this, which is giving you this great vivid image. So not interchangeable, this only to be used with this screen. The other big mistake people make, in my opinion, and go back to all my screen videos before this, is they'll just go, hey, I'm going to buy this projector and put it on a white wall, or I'm going to put it on a white screen. The problem is, same thing with anything else, right? You're not getting any black levels. Yes, you have 4,000 lumens, but you're not going to get any black levels, especially in a living room on a white screen, because you can't. So at the end of the day, this gives you the best of both worlds. Now here's the hangups that I have with short throw projection, because we tell people when they come in, they're like, hey, I don't want to have a projector that people can walk in front of, okay? I don't want to have a projector, that, has bulbs. They're all laser, so that's good, although there's many laser ones that hang from the ceiling now. Or, they're like, hey, I want to watch it with the lights on. This is a good solution for that, without buying, super expensive screens and projectors. And lastly, I want a projector in my living room, right? People don't want to have a projector hanging in their living room, and especially if they're married. So that's just not something that's possible. I own an AV company, and my wife would give me the hell no on hanging a projector in my living room. So this gets you there, gets you a 120-inch image watching football, especially you're like, man, I don't have a theater in the house. I still want to have that theater experience. This is for you. The hangups are this. You don't see it as much here, which is a good thing, right? If you're watching regular TV or you're watching something, you're not going to see it as much. But something like ESPN, something like that, you're going to see it. You have to choose where this focuses, right? So right now we have this focused, here. It's a laser projector. It's very sensitive to light. It'll kick back on in a second when it realizes you're not looking at it. So I'll go from here. In the middle here is where it's focused. As you get to the corners and the edges, it's going to be a lot less focused. These words up here, which you don't have to zoom in on, they're not as focused. This quadrant here is not as focused as the quadrant in the middle. That might bother some people, so you have to know about that. Every short throw projector, because they use a fisheye lens to hit that screen size at that distance, they are all going to have that issue. If it's not that big of a deal to you and you realize your eye centers itself in the middle anyway, and you're not kind of looking around the screen, which you don't need to do, it's a great alternative. My second pet peeve is, of course, like I said before, if it's on a cabinet, it's very susceptible to be bumped, moved, breathed on, touched by a child, anything like that. Not a great place for it. So that brings me to the salamander stand, which we'll do a whole video on salamander stands. But the salamander stand, and excuse all my Star Wars gear here, we are actual movie-loving nerds here. But the salamander stand gives you a lot of features, actually. It's just a stand, and that's great, but they built it for, I think, up to 5 short throw projectors now. So you can choose the short throw projector that you're buying, and they have a stand for it, and it sits flush, and it's gorgeous. People have to look for that thing. No one even knows what it is. That's why people just think it's a TV, which is really cool. So that's one feature. If it's dropped in there, it's very difficult to move it around, obviously. It's not going to be as easy to jolt it. The other cool thing about the salamander stand, not that that's this video, but the neat thing about this is a vent and this is a grill. So you can actually flip the door around if you have your center channel. It fits up to a large Klipsch, 405C or 504C. You could fit a big center channel in there, so you can get huge theater experience with, big in walls on the side of it, big floor standing speakers on the side of it, big sub. You can get huge theater experience totally hidden in this cabinet with the projector hidden in the cabinet. The way that we sell this is about 10 grand all in. So I just tell people, instead of telling people this is $3,000 and that's $3,000, the stand is, $3,500, and people get hung up on that. This scenario is 10 grand. I think it's a bargain for 10 grand because a $10,000 TV of that size, $130,000. So everything's relative. Is it a lot of money? Sure. Is it a lot of money for a bright, fully ambient light rejected 120-inch screen in your living room? Not to me, and I think that a lot of people would agree, but again, everything relative. I just wanted to give my opinion on them, tell people the good and the bad, the things they're gonna deal with if they own one, that kind of thing. It's super important that people just don't see this and be like, I want it, or they see this and they go buy it on their own, because they're gonna realize real fast that thing's on the wall all the time. They're gonna be really frustrated. So I want people that know all the good and all the bad, more good than bad, especially with the Epson because of the auto correction and everything. If you have any questions, drop any questions in the comments. I'm always looking for new content. If you want my opinions on any kind of products or whatever, I might do a series of videos just on those contents. Like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.